Where I go, he goes.
Welcome back, Padawans, to another episode of the Jedi Archives, or the second episode of the Jedi Archives, because today, guys, I have another list for you that we are going to go over and discuss, and it is going to be going over the best Microsoft characters for an Xbox Super Smash Brothers type game. Alright, so this is coming to us from GameRant.com. Now, I'm going to go over the characters that they are discussing here. I will read the parts for characters that I am not super familiar with, so then that way we can have a generalized idea of what these characters are, what they can bring to a Super Smash Brothers type game if Microsoft were to go down that route. But I don't know if they are going to, but again, this is fun. This is a little fun thing to do. But guys, let us kick this list off with Vivek. So, we have here Vivek from the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Now, I have never played that game, alright? I'm not a huge Elder Scrolls fan in the grand scheme of things, but let us see what Vivek is about here. So, they write, and actually this is coming from Mr. David George Morton over at GameRant, alright? But he writes, Vivek is the deity whom all the Dark Elves worship in Morrowind. He is an all-powerful presence who floats as he speaks poetry. As such, these powers would make a great addition to a Smash Brothers-like brawler. He could teleport about the battlefield and be immune to a ring-out knockout. So that's actually pretty cool because obviously that is a huge aspect of these Smash Brother brawlers is knocking people off of the stage. So if he has this ability where he is, floating and talking poetry and whatnot, which honestly, it seems like how this was written that he just always floats. It doesn't seem like he's never not floating. I don't think that would be the case in a Smash Brothers type game. They're gonna have to kind of, bring him down a bit, bring him down a few pegs to be able to, be fair for everybody else in all of the other characters. Because if you just have one floating character for the entire time, you're never gonna be able to knock him out. You know what I mean? So they could probably work something out to where, like, oh, if you don't have anything underneath you, then you're gonna fall, like, unless you do a power-up which has him start singing poetry. That would be pretty cool. But let us move over to the next person on the list, and we have Captain Briggsy from Sea of Thieves. Now, I have played Sea of Thieves, but not super familiar with Captain Briggsy, so let's see what we've got here. So he goes, not only could Captain Briggsy entertain players with her unique sword fighting, but she could also be a source of witty one-liners. The skeleton pirate may appear frightening on the surface, but new players will quickly warm to her charms. Alright, so that one, having a pirate, they've got weaponry, so we do definitely have a sword, we've got, a gun. I don't exactly know what they call, like, the pirate guns, you know what I mean? But the old-timey guns, that's what they're gonna have. And they are a skeleton pirate here, Captain Briggsy, so I could see maybe they have or she has a power that can control other undead pirates, and that's a power that you could utilize during the gameplay of this. Now, thinking about this, about like what Microsoft could do, it's something that definitely comes up considering we saw PlayStation with the PlayStation All-Stars. That game was obviously exactly this, but for the PlayStation side of things. So it seems like it's time for Microsoft to, have one of their own. But let us continue to the next person on the list here. We have Jack of Blades from the game Fable. So he writes, this hooded menace is a powerful magic user and combatant. As such, he will not be limited in terms of combat. Also, the Sword of Ions could be featured in one of his special moves and as an Easter egg for fans who remember this great game. Now, I ain't one of those fans that remember this great game because I did not play Fable at all as well. Now, I will say this though. I am excited for the remastered remake of Fable. Now, I don't know, I literally almost lost the game in my head for a second as I just said it. Anyway, I do look forward to that game. However, I don't know if I'm really gonna like it or not. I tried to get back into Fable, on the Steam Deck, really, and I played like the first 20 minutes of it, and I was like, this ain't for me cheap. But we're talking about a character from here, and if they are able to be a part of this game. Now, I didn't realize here, they do have potential abilities here. So we did talk about the teleportation with Vivek from Elder Scrolls, but we have sword fighting from Captain Briggsy, so that makes sense again because she's gonna have a sword. I'm thinking a gun as well would probably be in the arsenal for this character. But then for Jack of Blades, his potential abilities could be magic and the Sword of Ions. So that is adding 2 of them. Now, magic abilities in this, we've seen it before with, again, paying homage to Smash Brothers. We've seen some magical characters inside of Smash Brothers, and they've done a very good job. I think that having a character that could have multiple abilities is something that we definitely need to look more into, right? So we don't need to be looking for characters for this game to potentially have, just one, or, just one singular ability. We want them to have multiple, so that way we can utilize different things and have a robust fighting style. You know what I mean? But let us move over to the next character, and this one is probably my favorite character that they've added to this list. It is the Adoring Fan from Starfield. As soon as I saw that, I immediately chuckled. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, guys. What are you doing? But the Adoring Fan is really, it's a perk that you get at the start of Starfield. So you can choose to have an Adoring Fan follow you around. Now, I didn't choose that perk, so I'm not 100% sure what Homeboy does for you, if you do choose that one. But from what I've seen online, it pretty much, he is your fan. You could never do anything wrong with this guy. A lot of things that happen in Starfield, if there is an issue or something that goes on that your crew is not really, privy to, or they don't care for the action that you did, they will voice those opinions, and they will voice them in a very forceful manner. And you can really tell, oh, I messed up, and they don't like that, so I should probably do something to make them happy again. And it starts to get a little tedious, and it starts to be like, you know what? Maybe I don't want you on my crew. If you can't get with the times, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to save the world here, okay? Sometimes lines gotta be crossed, okay? Is what it is. Anyway, the Adoring Fan is not gonna be like that. The Adoring Fan is gonna look at you and you killed that whole entire Starfleet. It's fantastic, man. You're the best. You're the best. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever could be, my friend. So, I really am a fan of the Adoring Fan. You see what I did there? You see that? But again, to have him in the game, I want to see what abilities they're going to talk and how they are saying, oh, this person should be in a Smash Brothers game. Now again, looking back at Smash Brothers as a whole, or the OG, that, they have weird characters in there too. Albeit, like the Adoring Fan, not in the same vein, but very much like obscure character that you wouldn't have expected them to put in, but they did anyway. And I'm thinking of the Mii characters, or the I think that's what they're called. But the characters that you could create on your Wii, those characters you can play as. The Wii Trainer, that one is really? We did that? But again, I've played as the Wii Trainer, and I actually really did like the playstyle of that character. So again, just because you don't think that they could fit doesn't mean that they wouldn't be a good fit. You see what I'm saying? But let's see what they're talking about with Mr. Adoring Fan. We have one such quirk is the return of the Adoring Fan from Oblivion. This Easter egg is a nice touch and serves to remind gamers just how annoying this character is. Now that he is a Microsoft exclusive, many gamers would queue up for the chance to knock the Adoring Fan around in a Smash Brothers style brawler. His powers would be limited, but that won't be a concern for players. So this is more, and even they say, potential abilities, comic relief. It's not so much that that's an ability of his, it's more of, it is how it makes our gameplay more fun, because we can beat him to a pulp, as we've always wanted to do. Now, let's move over to the next character on their list here, and I will say this one, and the ones that continue on down here, they definitely feel like, okay, these ones are legit options here. I could definitely see this happening. But without further ado, we have the Arbiter from the Halo franchise. Now, this guy is, or has been, a thorn in Master Chief's back, right? Up until he, and I believe that there are multiple Arbiters. So Arbiters is basically it's a not a faction, but it's a title. It's a title that is given to somebody who is really messed up in this alien race here that is in the Halo universe. Now, I don't remember what the names are, but let's see if they have it in here, and I don't. Oh, the Covenant, yeah. So this is a title that is given to a Covenant member who, again, has done something that's going against the Covenant and what they want. And this is a way for them to kind of, redeem themselves in a sense. So they become the Arbiter, and they then have to go on basically mercenary missions. And if they die, that's the way that they get the name taken off, basically. So the Arbiter here and again, there's going to be multiple Arbiters, but there's a main Arbiter, and I think we're talking about, and it even says halfway through, or it says many Xbox fans were beside themselves when they discovered that they got to play as an elite halfway through Halo 2's campaign. The elite is called the Arbiter, and his part of the story follows the character as he begins to learn of the true intentions of the Covenant. So that is where we come across Mr. Man here in the Halo franchise, but I definitely think that he would be a good fit. Their potential abilities here, we've got the energy sword, which obviously, like, that's a perfect fit for this style of game, but also for that character as well, because that's the weapon of choice for the elite soldiers, as well as a plasma rifle. Also, again, very good addition here. If we were to see this game come to fruition, I would love to see both the energy sword and the plasma rifle in there, because they are powerful weapons, and I definitely think they could change the course of the game. And I would even say, like, maybe the energy sword would be... I feel like the energy sword should stay with the elite, with the Arbiter, because that is more tangible to them. But I feel like maybe that plasma rifle could be a potential item that could drop on the map, and then it gives everybody a chance to kind of level the playing field. I feel like that would be a cool thing. But he continues here and he says, the Ying to Master Chief's Yang, the Arbiter is instantly recognizable when wielding an energy sword, as I've been saying. As such, his character build could focus more on melee style while also having an option to pull out a plasma rifle if needed. Alright, but let's move on to the next character that we have on this list here, and then we are getting geared up for the #1 spot of who or what character in the Microsoft IP should be included in a Star Wars. Anyway, in a Smash Brothers game, alright? But we're not there yet. We're at #2, baby, and that is Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. Man, if I gotta be honest, this is my favorite. I know I said that the Adoring Fan was my favorite character on this list, but Marcus Phoenix has a special place in my heart. I love the Gears of War franchise, I always will, and I like having him in this game. Again, this is a pipe dream, but if they were to do this, they cannot make this game without a Marcus Phoenix in there. You know what I mean? Because this man is very hard, and is very, like, brute, and I definitely think he could do some damage with just his fists. He wouldn't even need any weapons, but we would not have a Gears of War character in a Super Smash Brothers type game if we didn't have some weaponry, if we didn't give them some things from their own IP. And you better give me the Lancer, all right? I want that chainsaw on my gun, and I want to be able to use that thing, all right? Now, could we maybe potentially, because again, there's not a lot of like melee fist-to-fist combat in this. It's obviously a shooter game. I could see them just having a shooter. That would be really cool if we just, that's how you're fighting, is just shooting the Lancer. But what would really intrigue me is if we saw them only utilize the chainsaw on the gun. That would be fantastic. So if they are trying to do more of a melee-focused game like that, they could then still utilize this character, still utilize the gun, but only use the chainsaw. And that's even what they have here for the potential abilities. They have rifle and chainsaw. So I am definitely jazzed if they could ever, do something like this, to see a Marcus Phoenix in this kind of game. But let us move over to the last character of the night here, and that is going to be #1 with Master Chief from the Halo series, baby. Now, come on. You're going to think I say the Arbiter and not bring up Master Chief? Come on. Of course we're going to talk about Master Chief. If we got the Arbiter in one of these games, you're damn sure we're going to have Master Chief here too. Especially if we got Marcus Phoenix as well. Come on now. Like, the only person who can stand up against Master Chief is Marcus Phoenix. At least if we're talking about Microsoft IP, right? There ain't nobody else that I can think of until the end of this recording that can take out Master Chief. But I definitely think Master Chief is a perfect character for this. And they even continue here. They say Master Chief is just as iconic as any other video game mascot, from Mario to Sonic. And guess what's in Super Smash Bros. And who's on the cover? Mario. Well, I mean, every other character too. But Mario, back in the day, is what got people to pick up Super Smash Bros. And got Super Smash Bros. To the level of market share that it is, mind share that it is right now. Mario helped get that there. And obviously, again, other characters too, but come on, let's be honest. Master Chief, Master Chief will get us there as well. I'm definitely positive that would be the case, because, I mean, that's what half of these people bought this Xbox Series X for, is to play the Halo Infinite game. You know what I mean? They put his face on the... I've got it right here, guys. I've got it right here. They put his face on the back of the box for this console. So, of course, that is the mascot. He is the mascot of Xbox. And that is something that you need in a IP-driven melee brawler. That's all there is to it. He's got to be there. And do I need to discuss what his potential abilities would be and No, man, he's Master Chief. Like, he's a perfect addition to this, and you already know why. He's a beast. He is a machine. And I'm telling you this too, they're saying that he could potentially pilot a vehicle. So we're talking a Pelican, we could talk a Warthog, anything like that. We could potentially see him going in and controlling as a special ability of his. That would be fantastic. So again, the combat would be there. The gunplay would probably be the same, similar to what I was talking about with Marcus Phoenix. Not 100% sure because he is mostly shooting as opposed to, melee. But also in Infinite, we did have more of a melee push in that game as opposed to the other one. So we could potentially see something like that. But you never know. And again, all this is a pie in the sky dream. This probably will never come to fruition in the grand scheme of things. But here's hoping that it does. But anyway, guys, I have been your host, Jedi Master Ren. And I will see you next time in the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy. May the Force be with you.